This is a true story about ordinary heroes. This is about very simple rural women in Africa, from Ethiopia to Gambia, from Mauritania to Tanzania, from Sudan to South Africa. A quiet revolution is taking place. Illiterate and semi-literate rural women, most of them grandmothers, who have never left their villages in their lives, are proving the impossible is possible. By their hands-on approach, they are baffling high-powered engineers, universities, donors, development planners, and paper-qualified experts by demonstrating incredible sophisticated technology skills and exposing the fundamental inadequacies of the rigid theoretical formal educational system. Without using the written or spoken word, they have come to India to be trained in 6 months to be solar engineers through the use of the sight and sound, unlike the universities and other urban-based training courses that are all theory and no practice. It is not surprising. These women know more about practical installation, fabrication, repair and maintenance than any paper-qualified certified solar engineer in any university or engineering college in Africa or India after 5 years. These women represent the profile of everyday rural Africa, from poor agricultural communities, housewives, daily wage laborers, midwives, small shopkeepers, slum dwellers who have never left their communities in their lives, all now recognized and respected leaders. Even after 6 months in India, using only sign language while training, they know no theories of physics, electronics, mathematics, no names of any spare parts, and have never heard of generating power from the sun. All the women sitting together on one table learn how to assemble charge controllers and inverters, how to establish a rural electronic workshop in small rooms donated by the community, install solar panels on the roofs, connect them to deep cycle batteries. What is extraordinary is that in the presence of the whole village, these illiterate grandmothers have solar electrified each house in the village, all on their own. As a result of 12 women being trained in India as solar engineers, in 2011, the President of Sierra Leone has constructed the first Barefoot training center in Continent in Africa, where now these 12 barefoot women solar engineers will train 150 grandmothers from all over the country. When the 6 simple, rural, illiterate solar grandmothers returned to Burkina Faso, they were received as heroes. 3 cabinet ministers, the UNDP resident representative, and the entire national press were at the airport. The Prime Minister received them. The Barefoot approach believes the management, control, and ownership of the technology must lie in the hands of the poor communities. They must take all major decisions, like how much they are prepared to pay as a monthly contribution and who among the poorest of the poor women should go for training as a barefoot solar engineer. When the target is the poorest of the poor, earning less than 50 cents a day, it is unreal and impractical to talk about business models. The partnership model is by far the most sustainable model. Poor communities in all these countries in Africa have agreed to pay what they now pay for kerosene, candles, wood, torch batteries and diesel. Depending on their economic status, they have agreed to pay between $5 to $10 a month per solar unit. This is a fundamental breakthrough because nothing should be free. The Barefoot approach does not believe in issuing certificates or diplomas after training. The certification should be done by the community themselves. That is why we believe men are untrainable. They are restless, ambitious, compulsively mobile, and they all want a certificate so that they can leave their villages looking for a job in the city. None of the 214 illiterate grandmothers trained as solar engineers from nearly 29 countries all over Africa have left their villages. Instead, they have become leaders and role models in their own communities and brought hope. Where is it written that just because you can't read and write, you cannot become a solar engineer?
Bankro is called the lady of Africa all to come this side and then to train the solar engineer. The people is talking, what is the lady is coming from? We coming from solar engineer. Yes, me I feel proud because solar engineer is good to lady. Now I'm feeling good because I'm original training in the solar engineer.
So what are the universal lessons we have learnt from training poor, illiterate rural grandmothers as solar engineers in Africa? Lesson 1. Any illiterate rural woman including a grandmother from any part of Africa, or indeed the world, can be trained without using the written or spoken word in 6 months in India to be a confident and competent barefoot solar engineer. Lesson 2. Sensitize the community first by involving them from the very beginning in taking major decisions on behalf of the whole village, and only then bring in the solar technology to the village, a genuine community-based, sustainable bottom-up approach. Lesson 3. Keep urban-based paper-qualified engineers away because their arrogant top-down dependency approach, like in the case of the Millennium Villages, is doomed to fail. They have neither the vision, the patience, the courage, nor the faith to select and train women as solar engineers. They also do not have the basic communication tools to speak as equals with poor rural women. Lesson 4. No certificates should be issued. None of the grandmothers from the 29 countries in Africa have asked for them. Lesson 5. To reach the very poor, only a partnership model can work. The business model will definitely fail because it has not been designed to reach the very poor in Africa. In the case of the partnership model, the Barefoot College has entered into long-term agreements with the Skoll Foundation, UN Women, UNESCO, GEF Small Grants Program of the UNDP, Government of India, and several private foundations based in Europe and the US. The cost of solar electrifying 186 villages by nearly 214 women solar engineers all over Africa is close to $5 million. The amount being wasted on 2 Millennium Villages, on brick and mortar, on salaries and consultancies, on travel, on publicity and preparing studies and papers. Millennium Promise intends raising $120 million for only 80 Millennium Villages, promoting the North-South dependency model. With that sort of funding, the Barefoot College could solar electrify 800 villages, demonstrating the cost-effectiveness of the South-South community-based bottom-up approach. By 2013, the Government of India will have trained a total of 214 solar grandmothers, a total of 29 countries in the whole continent of Africa. 214 solar grandmothers has of today solar electrified 13,000 houses in 186 villages. The first technically and financially self-sufficient solar electrified villages in the whole continent of Africa, indeed the world. On a rare visit to the Barefoot College, when he also spent the night, His Holiness the Dalai Lama blessed the women solar engineers on the 13th of February 2011.
That's secret. So those illiterate villagers, even grandmother, physically also a little bit old and illiterate. Yet, through training, engineer, proud, self-confidence, and dignity. Wonderful.
By 2013, by including Liberia, South Africa, Southern Sudan, Zimbabwe, Burundi, Zanzibar, almost all the countries in the continent of Africa will have been covered, saving 1.5 million liters of kerosene from polluting the environment and thousands of tons of wood from being cut, depleting the already fragile forest. The Indian government has approved the proposal to establish 5 barefoot training centers, solar electrify an additional 11,000 houses in 200 more villages spread over the whole continent of Africa.
Sitting in Tinjamban and there's a light of India. We're very happy tonight because it was very, very dark in Tinjamban before.
There is no question. The barefoot approach is here to stay. What Mahatma Gandhi said comes to mind. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win.